I think
Judy, I'm not
yeah.
sure.
She's coming. I think I can't keep that straight.
Looks like Judy's online as well.
I am.
Judy's, okay, Judy's there too.
Yeah.
All right.
Handle these exhibits when we're doing Zoom. You really don't need to see this, do you? But you got it in front.
The only time would be if we started referencing things on there, and then we'll just have to somehow or another struggle with it.
All right.
Should the camera be on it?
Camera's
Yeah.
on.
Oh, okay. You're good? You have digital copies?
Yep, we have our
Yep,
copies.
digital
We'll figure it out.
All right.
Kathy is on vacation, so she won't be here tonight.
Okay. And who's in charge?
You're looking at it. Try not to let it go to my head.
Seven o'clock. Call the
7.
meeting to order. Good evening. This is a City of Hagerstown Planning Commission meeting for May the 26th, huh?
We got our recording going here.
Start over again?
Yeah, give me a second to get it fired up.
You record to Zoom, don't you? Zoom records.
Debbie would kill me if we don't get it.
But it looks like
All
we're
right.
broadcasting live on YouTube. I'm not sure.
We
if that's
ready?
recording.
No. Why can't I get this thing working?
I would be glad to sell my consulting services around that.
Okay, I can tell her I tried.
All right. Good evening. This is the meeting of the City of Hagerstown Planning Commission of May the 26th, 2021. With us tonight, we have actually a full complement of commissioners with us. Online, we have Chris Davis, Colin Plaskaru, and Judy Weller. And in the room with me tonight, on my far left, Shelley McIntyre, councilperson, Jim Stone, and Ron Thomas, myself, Doug Wright. We'll begin then with approval of the minutes from May the 12th, which you all should have gotten in advance, but I'm sure you have.
So moved.
We did.
That was Chris.
Yes.
Thank you.
Second?
Second from Jim.
I've got a question to ask on page
Okay.
3.
All right.
The first full paragraph there, it says, I asked what projects impact. I think, shouldn't we have another word in there? It should be asked what the project's impact will have.
The in front of projects?
Yeah. It
Chris,
just says, asked what project's impact will be on the existing cultural trail.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether we want to, put like the project's impact will be on.
Will that work for you?
It does, I was asking.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm the last person you want to correct anything when it comes to English.
You do an excellent job of reviewing these. Is that okay with the maker and the seconder that we insert the word the?
Yes.
All righty. Anything else before we vote?
That's it.
Very good. Then I assume we are ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? One abstention. Oh, I didn't catch that. All right. Well, they pass. Thank you. Now we have 3 development review cases, 2 of which are connected to each other. The first one we're going to look at is Mod Wash.
You'll like to step up to the table there? Okay, the first of these 2 is the site plan for a car wash known as Mod Wash at Ridge Mills, on South Potomac Street. This is site plan 2021-05. The site plan is for the development of a single bay car wash building adjacent to the existing entrance drive to the residue of the track. Access will not be directly from South Potomac Street. 9 parking spaces are provided. There are 17 vacuum stations proposed. At the direction of staff, public sidewalk has been added along the driveway for pedestrian access to the development that will occur in the future on the residue of the parcel. Staff have reviewed and found that it meets the letter of the land management code and no waivers are required. Street trees are shown in accordance with the approved forest conservation plan for this property. The forest conservation plan was approved with the mass grading and the parent track several years ago. Actually, it's a few years ago. We did an updated plan about 3 or 4 years ago. Plan Review Committee has been suspended for the duration of the health emergency. The following agencies have provided approval: Light Department, Police Department, Parks and Engineering, Wastewater, Water, and Planning. Conditional approval has been provided by the Fire Marshal, subject to assigning street names to the driveways. The entrance driveway to the development that runs along the north side of this site and the driveway that runs along the back of it, the Fire Marshal wants to have street names for. That is currently under review and in process. Washington County Plan Review and Permitting provides the following comment. The intersection of Sharpsburg Pike and Oak Ridge Drive is severely failing. Please take that into consideration when adding development to this area. Staff recommends approval, subject to resolving the remaining issue with the Fire Marshal. And the plans that you received, this is pretty cut and dry. It's a flat site, rectangular in shape, front end of what's planned to be some sort of commercial development by Coleman Development. Buildings and the land parking areas all meet the required 10-foot landscape buffers from the surrounding property lines. Pretty problem-free site plan all in all.
Because this is a private road, we really have no standing on sidewalks. Is that a correct statement?
The ordinance requires public sidewalks. It requires sidewalks to the front doors of buildings, which we actually had them include that as well. If you notice on the drawing, it says 10-foot building parking setback in the bottom left corner of the site. That's actually a sidewalk that'll take you across the front queue, then across the drive aisle and into the front door. That's actually required by the ordinance. Sidewalks into the residue of the shopping center is kind of gray area, but we asked them to provide it, and they added it to the plan.
Okay.
So, because knowing somewhere along the line what's behind there is going to develop, and people are going to walk in off of Potomac Street into the site.
Yeah.
So,
That was my thoughts, but I didn't know our standing in requiring it. But the sidewalk to the building is more for grass erosion concerns, right, than
yes,
public safety.
correct.
I was very curious, very curious with the county planning department's comments. I mean, what we do about it? I mean,
Presumably, the plan is approved by our city engineer's office, so whatever requirements the city has for traffic has been met here. The comments that I received were basically, everything that you see is what the comments I received in the form of an email from my counterpart over at the county. So since it was a comment, I added it for the record.
yeah.
And there actually is a lot of study going on down in that area too, because there's some significant developments that are being contemplated down in that area. So traffic studies and stuff are, I'm sure, pending regarding other major improvements in the region.
Okay. Even this site plan we couldn't have any effect upon that intersection anyhow, so. All right.
And applicants, engineers, and architects are here.
Can you guys hear me? I keep pushing this mic away.
Yes.
You hear me okay? All right. All righty. Anybody else have any questions of staff or the developer?
Well, I'm willing to put forward a motion to accept the plan as is pending approval by the other agencies that need to weigh in.
David, you get that? I couldn't quite hear you. Could you say it a little louder for us, please?
I'm sorry. So I said I'm willing to put forward a motion to accept the plan as is pending approval by the relevant agencies.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. All right. Any other comments before we vote? We ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? You didn't get to show your pretty drawings or anything. We just, yeah, thanks for coming. I personally, how does the stacking thing do? Is there some electronic thing that you've got these 6 cars stacked up?
Right, right. So that's where what we refer to as your pay station. So it's similar to entering a parking lot where maybe you grab the ticket and they have a gate. So it's similar to that. You'll have a menu where you can select different washes, depending on what you want done. You select, and then it has a card reader in order to pay. And once you've paid, then the gate arm rises and you enter. So that just allows us to stack a lot more cars without it backing up into the parking. And we just discovered after developing a lot of these that it works much better to have 3 of those. One is what we call VIP, which if you have a monthly pass, allows those cars to go in quicker, and it just processes them through, so it doesn't stack up.
So the gate action controls who goes next,
It does, yes,
and because they go through single file in the building.
right. Yeah, and then one at a time, they'll go through the tunnel.
Yeah.
We call it tunnels.
All right, so well, thank you for coming.
Absolutely, thank you.
Glad we can let this project continue to move forward.
We are too, thank you.
Next item on the plate is the subdivision plat for this particular project. It's a subdivision plat for 2 lots at Oak Ridge Mills on South Potomac Street, subdivision plat file S 2021-05. This plat is for the creation of 2 commercial lots as part of the Oak Ridge Mills development, which will front on South Potomac Street. Lot 1 is 1.22 acres and is intended for development as a car wash. Lot 2 is 0.78 acres, and no proposed development of this lot has yet been identified. Paved access roads surround the site to the north and the east by driveways, part of the Oak Ridge Mills development, and a paved access road to the south between the proposed Lot 2 and the existing Sheetz gas station and convenience store. Plan Review Committee has been suspended for the duration of the health emergency. The following agencies have provided approval: Water, Wastewater, State Highway Administration, Light Department, Planning, Parks, and Engineering. We anticipate approval from the Fire Marshal in time for your meeting. Their only remaining comment is requiring the driveways on the residue of this property be assigned street names. That's the same condition for the site plan. Washington County Plan Review and Permitting provides the same comment as they did before. Staff recommends approval subject to resolving the remaining issue with the Fire Marshal and any other conditions that may come with their anticipated approval. This is a little peculiar in that we're bringing this to you without official approval from the Fire Marshal yet. We're not exactly sure what's hanging things up over there. We've been asking them for approval. We know what their one remaining condition is. We just couldn't squeeze an official approval out of them. And I saw no point in holding it up over a street name issue that we're all clearly aware of and they're working on. So I'm putting it in front of you all. I saw there's no design issue here, no fire safety issue associated with this. So we're putting it in front of you with for approval, subject to compliance with the final requirements of the Fire Marshal.
So this lot 1 is the lot for the previous mod wash, is that?
Yes.
Okay.
And then lot 2 is a skinny little undeveloped lot for now.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine Doug DeHaven's retirement has a lot to do with what you're.
Yeah, I think they're as busy as the rest of us are right now, and they're complicated with his retirement. So
Yeah. Any questions of Steve or the applicant?
I'll make a motion that we approve, conditioned on the outstanding fire marshal comment concerning the name.
I'll second.
Second?
Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And anybody? It passes unanimously. Thank you.
y'all are done.
I just found all this other stuff. But this is outside of this temporary.
Oh. Yeah, that's just the traffic control signs and stuff like that. That's all city engineer oriented stuff. They provided it, so I put it up there for you.
I wish I know it was there. And the landscaping also, I just found that. But it meets your criteria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was not a single waiver requested or needed here.
Okay. All right. So that brings us to our last case for this evening, and that is the ESD concept plan for 1150 Professional Court.
Okay, this is an ESD sketch plan for 1150 Professional Court. This is for the expansion of an existing parking lot. This sketch is for the acquisition of land from an adjacent property and development of that area for an expanded parking lot, basically to be a loop around the back of the building. As far as comments, see the attached comments from the city engineer. As you all are aware, the sketch plan review process is mostly driven by the stormwater management ordinance in the city engineer's office. Even though we bring them to you, it's mostly their issue, and then we kind of piggyback on them if we have anything that jumps out at us at this stage of the game. So attached to your memo is the memo from the city engineer on their matter. Forest conservation will not be required as this is part of a pre-1991 subdivision, is therefore exempt. Staff have reviewed the sketch and finds that it has the potential to meet the requirements of the zoning ordinance and of the subdivision and land development ordinance, and no need for design waivers are evident at this time. Staff does observe that the area between being acquired and developed is from a residential care facility and comes fairly close to the adjoining building. When developing the site plan, the applicant should pay particular attention to the buffering this proposed parking area from the adjacent institutional/residential building. And Adam Hager is here representing the applicant. And your memo has an existing conditions drawing and then what the proposed design is going to look like.
My memory serves me, and sometimes it fails me on occasion. There's a tremendous drop off. And it's, that shows where it's, I'm not sure whether that slopes down to Antietam Creek or to a forest preserve down there, the way the river goes. I can't pick it up here on the.
There's actually an existing stormwater management pond below it.
Yes, I see those.
Between it and the creek. The topography there, it is a little on the extreme side. If you notice on the proposed improvements drawing,
Yes,
the area will be upgraded, or graded upwards, I should say.
yes.
And a total of about 12 to 13 feet or so until you go from the new parking area down to this proposed stormwater management facility. It's about a 12-foot drop, plus slope downward about 12-foot elevation change.
We're actually proposing a retaining wall along this property line.
Okay. That's what I was,
There'll be a good sized retaining wall along this property line, and this is graded down to the stormwater, proposed stormwater bio.
Mhm.
And then it grades into the existing regional stormwater pond. Then after that, it goes into the Antietam Creek. But these two parking lots that were the existing parking lots, this one is at a higher elevation, so this goes into the top floor in the one side of the building, and then the other side goes into the lower level. So by looping these around, it'll be going upgrade to tie the two parking lots together so that the traffic can get around the building.
So on the west side is the first floor entrance, and on the east side is the basement entrance, or second and first.
Yeah.
That's quite a drop over a short period of time.
yeah. That's what I was looking at with the elevations hashes here. That's quite a drop.
So is that a guardrail that you're proposing?
Yes, it is a guardrail along
Okay.
the outside edge, just to protect anyone from inadvertently driving over into the stormwater structure, so.
Mhm.
In the site plan, when we're putting the site plan together, we'll show the guardrail and show, of course, landscaping with some shrubs and everything along that edge, so.
Yeah.
I noticed that before they started all the work, and actually before we even got these plans, it was about a year and a half or so ago, I just drove down there and see what it was like.
Mhm.
And I noticed it really dropped off down to the creek.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of this was kind of brought on by the bridge that's being
Yes.
constructed now.
That's what I was driving down there for. It wasn't
Yeah.
because of this.
There was always parking concerns and issues. He had actually contacted us maybe 2 years ago and was asking about doing some concepts for parking, and it's been a need that he's just finally been able to bring himself to pay for it. A lot of it was negotiating with the adjoining property owner for the property that he's purchasing, so
Okay.
that took quite some time.
Staff was asking us, I guess, should we ask for anything screening wise, special, at least on from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock on that circle?
Yeah, Steve and I actually talked whenever he first came in, he mentioned it to me, and we'll definitely be adding landscaping, some sort of trees. I mean, probably the evergreens in that area.
I'm sure that the current occupant of that building is not having people parking in that parking lot at night. But if a future one did,
Yeah,
their headlights could be shining as residents.
Yeah, there won't be any late time use for this. This is a doctor's office. I think it's a spinal doctor.
So you'll be showing that on the site plan.
Yes.
All right. The city engineer is tentative giving their approval. Not much more for us to look at, is there?
Yeah, during the whole process, my client has actually been in touch with Rodney. They've been talking about this a lot with parking and how to resolve this. So city engineers definitely been involved with the whole process.
Okay. Anybody else have questions?
I do. Who owns the piece of land that's going to be added now? Is it these folks up here or?
Yeah, it'll be.
On the screen up there at the top right-hand corner. It's a
Okay.
residential care facility
Okay.
where those orange boxes are on the drawing.
It's a nursing home. No, it's assisted living. Assisted living. To the permanent residents living on it. Any other questions?
On here.
Oh, was that a move? Did you move?
No, I just said none here, but I would be glad to move for a motion, provided that there is additional screening shown in a future plan towards a residential facility particularly.
Second.
You get that, Debbie? Provided there be additional screening for the residential occupants. Is that what you said, Cole?
That is what I said, yes.
All right. We ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? All righty. Steve, you handed out something else tonight.
Yeah, just a couple of things under planning commission business. Just as an FYI, I plan on being on vacation during your next meeting, so I'm going to try and keep your plan review to a minimum. I can't speak for comp plan issues or, general planning issues, but I don't expect that you're going to have a lot of stuff on your agenda for plan reviews at the next meeting. Second thing is, and I forwarded this via email to those attending by Zoom just prior to the meeting. We'll send you hard copies. We put together a memo that we sent out to the development engineering community regarding new large residential subdivisions. With the way the economy has been the last couple of years, we have been seeing a lot of interest in large residential subdivisions where for the previous 10 years we had essentially no interest. Properties around the edges of the city, some in the city, some that we would annex for large residential subdivisions. When we sat down with the design engineers and the potential developers, the concepts were coming back very old subdivision ordinance, let's just say. Just about all two-car garage, two-car driveway to Front Street kind of stuff. And for those of you who don't go back 20 years like some of us do here, as a little bit of background, after the developments of the last boom, specifically things like Hager's Crossing and all, we realized that there were some problems with the subdivision ordinance. So essentially, back in the period of 2005 to 7, it was rewritten. Stuart Bass, if you remember Stuart, if you were here for him, he was the one who took the lead on that. And we rewrote the subdivision ordinance just in time for the Great Recession. So we had this great subdivision ordinance on the books, and then residential development completely dried up for a decade. Well, now we're seeing people wanting to come in and do developments, and I think the development community forgot, basically. So what we did is we put together a memo outlining what the expectations of the current comprehensive plan, and actually the last comprehensive plan as well, plus our subdivision ordinance, expect as far as what new residential subdivisions should look like in the city. It was sent out to the engineering community yesterday. Have heard no feedback on it yet. It's 7 pages long, using some examples from a community that I'm familiar with that I could get access to photograph. Again, it's several pages long. I'm not going to go through it page by page. I just wanted to distribute it to you. So if you want to talk about it at a future meeting, if you find the need to, But just about everything in here is quoting from the comprehensive planning, quoting from the existing subdivision ordinance. So shouldn't be no real issue to it.
We'll definitely review it.
Steve, this is Chris. You don't have to send me a hard copy. I have a printer.
Okay.
And I do not know what to do with paper, so please do never send me a hard copy of anything.
Then we won't do that. Judy, would you like a hard copy?
No, I can print too.
Then I won't send anybody a hard copy. If those of you who are here, you got a hard
You
copy.
just sent it out today?
It went out to the engineering community yesterday. It went out electronically to the three on the screen
Okay.
just prior to this meeting. And then you all have hard copies now.
We do?
Somewhere on that pile of stuff, there's one for you.
Snuck it on your desk.
Oh.
This one here, I'm sorry. Has these pages.
Oh, okay.
Nope, that's not it.
Last week,
I thought I pulled out something that I shouldn't have. This one.
weekend before last, I visited Kathy and I visited some friends outside of Raleigh, Chapel Hill. Massive housing development, huge. And a lot
Raleigh
of
is
stuff in
gone
there.
completely
I
out of
think
control.
You all would like to look at.
What was the name of it?
I'm gonna have to do a little better research. I think
Okay.
it's Briar Chapel, but I will find out more information.
Okay.
Of course, it's a mix. A lot of, very similar to development off of Mount Etna Road, that you were involved with,
Greenwich Park.
Grange Park,
Park, yeah.
in that there was a public access in the back with garages in the back in some of the areas. And my friends were, because they're my friends, they were in the Encore section, which is all further back and one floor and, you know, more for us Encore folks. But it was really massive. I mean, you could get lost in that one subdivision. I don't know how many houses, I'll see it's in, but that's, I thought of, we have seen stuff that you all have done in the past that would kind of fit into that, their own clubhouses and everything else. I'll try to send that to you. Anything else on that?
No. Like I said, it's just some guidance to them when they're drafting up their sketch plans on how they think their development should fall out.
Yeah.
So.
I have 2 points of personal privilege. One of them, if I could, is to be sure that I point out to you all that MPCA, the Maryland Planning Commission Association, is going to be conducting a comprehensive plan review workshop. For those interested, I know Chris has already signed up, which I think is great. I'll point that out to you. It'll be done virtually. It'll be done virtually.
Yeah.
And I submit that for your consideration.
What's the date though?
That'll be,
July 16th.
yep. Thank you.
I will
10
do
to
my best to
11:30.
attend based on schedule.
And it's free. What better? And finally, I'd like to recognize a visitor with us tonight, my grandson, Austin Zuki, who is working on his badge for working on Way for Eagle Scouts. So and he's going to write a real report about everything we do. So
Good job and congratulations.
without anything else, I'll move
Mr.
for
Chairman,
adjournment.
I have a question. Is anybody going to the fall meeting? The on-site meeting?
Down in
Solomon's?
Solomon's Island, I will be going.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a long way.
Yeah.
Not sure. Maybe.
Sweet area.
Was that Carroll County?
Calvert.
Calvert County, they really pushed MPCA for a meeting down there. They really wanted a meeting, and they've been very supportive of MPCA and sent lots of people to our other ones. And so we were excited that we had somebody excited to host us. So it's going to be a long haul for a lot of people, but it would be a great trip. It's a great time to go down
Do you have a
there.
date for it?
I'll tell you, it means it will. I'll make sure I get there. October. October 26, 27. It will be, our focus will be basically, now what? Because we're coming out of this COVID pandemic restrictions, and there's going to be, we feel there's going to be a number of planning issues that'll provide, give changes to city structures and how people live and everything else. So we think that we're going to start studying that and what that might mean in small and big ways. One of the reasons why I think we're seeing housing again is that people now are realizing that they can work from home. And major offices buildings downtown Baltimore are cleaning out, closing down, sending people home. So why drive in anymore?
My bet is on the home office becoming the next really, really hot thing in interior architecture.
Not just one office, but multiple, given that it's not just one person in it.
That's true. My dogs, however, do not need an office. They share mine.
I think part of it too is pent up demand. No houses were built for 10 years.
Yeah.
The population
now-
grows.
Now realtors can't even get houses to sell.
Right now, the market in this area is just unbelievable. I mean, houses are going on the market and they're sold even before they're officially offered for sale in cases. And what is it? The average time on the market now is down to about 3 weeks.
Is it that long?
And they're buying that, there's no contingency, so they're like even buying them without inspections or anything.
And there's, in some cases, there's bidding wars.
Yeah, bidding wars too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's bringing a lot of, I suspect that's going to bring a lot of developers back into the game group and sitting on the sidelines for a long time.
One of the things that we're finding is the developers want to have site plans for the development in place, ready to go. And then as they need them, they can come in and plat chunks of it. So the landowner still holds onto the land. If it's farmed, they still farm whatever's left of it that hasn't been developed yet. But the development companies don't end up stuck, because sooner or later the economy will turn down. I mean, it's the nature of the economy. They learned their lesson in the last one. When the last downturn happened, and then they end up getting stuck sitting on hundreds of lots that they're paying property taxes on.
So the farmer will have to pay property tax on them at residential rates.
No, not until the lot gets recorded. What will happen is they'll enter into a contract with the farmer. The farmer gets the site plan approved. And then the farmer keeps farming, but then he'll peel off and sell pieces. And as they plat, then they lose the agricultural exemption or agricultural assessment. And then with the lots being recorded, then they immediately turn and flip them to the developer, and they're taxed as lots.
But it's only the final plat that calls that. You have your preliminary plats and site plans and all that. You can get that approved without genuine taxation.
That's correct. Yeah. So the developers have learned their lesson with the Great Recession.
Everybody's worried about fighting the last war. Nobody knows what the next war is going to be.
Yeah.
It will be something.
Oh, yeah. There'll be something.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
I think that's it.
Appreciate y'all's attendance and participation, and see y'all soon.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.